What's going down, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Soul Effect, Shali from the RnB Talk Show, man. This is the debut, of this episode right here live on YouTube. I want to say thank you all for, enjoying, the RnB Talk Show over the past, 9 years, the last 2 or 3 years, and checking out all the interviews I did on Instagram, me posting history from past and present and stuff. And I tell you, it's been a long time coming, and your boy's blessed, and I want to say thank you, for doing this, for showing me love and acknowledging what I do and everything and stuff, But yeah, before I bring the guests on here and stuff, just want to say one of the reasons why I left, you know, uh, Instagram as far as interviews, because I felt like it was time. I done came too far, and everybody kept telling me, well, how come you don't do stuff on YouTube? And I kind of like, was against it, for a while, but when IG, went on ahead and went back to like they went for like 3 hours all those years, for 4 straight years, to back to only an hour. I was like, yeah, it's time and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, waiting on the guests to come on through here, you know what I'm saying? And so that way she go live with me, I hope I say her name right, it's Dii Fuston or Dii Fuston, one or two. But I know she's gonna, pronounce that, as she gets on here and stuff. And she's an amazing artist. Just about 3 years ago, she was featured in a live stream, live concert with a R&B/hip hop recorded boy band back forth. She's also featured on their album back in 2022 called Mystery. And we're going to discuss a little bit of all that, as well as break down her singles and stuff. And let me see. Yeah, just waiting her to get on here and stuff like that, man. But besides that, man, just want to say thank you all for subscribing to the RnB Talk Show, man. We get close to 6K, man. So, let's keep it going, man. So, because I thought to myself, me building, the IG page, from 150 followers to over 100,000 K, man. I tell you, man, it's been incredible, man. It has been easy, but for me, I don't like to deal with bots and everything else and stuff. So it's never really been my type of style, when it comes to that, So for me, I'm all about just being organic, because people could tell, what stuff is bought, what ain't, because there's some folks that got like 50K and don't even got likes at all. So, like, what's the point of faking till you make it? That's like, buying bots for your music, because like my thing like this, if you go on Facebook and telling people, oh yeah, I got a million streams in 1 week, and then by the time, it's time for you to get paid, if your account says $2.95, who fault is that? Yeah, man. So it doesn't, really work like that. You know what I'm saying? That's my honest opinion and stuff like that. But let me see. Yeah, okay, good. Items up. You know what I'm saying? But for those that's watching on here, man, I want to say thank you all for taking the time, man, coming on here, man. If you want to, drop a comment, man, so let me shout you out, what I'm saying? So that way I could say what's up to you and everything. But yeah, this is the show, man, the RnB Talk Show, man, right here on StreamYard, man, which is out for YouTube as well. So, but like I said, when you in this business for a long time, don't suspect everybody on social media to add you as a friend, because you got some people, man, they only, hey, what's going on, Ed? What's going on? Appreciate you, Queen. Like when it comes to like, having, apps, like Facebook, Instagram, and X, Twitter, what you want to call it, and that goes to TikTok. Don't suspect everybody to support you, because some people got, a certain agendas, when it comes to that, say the enemy goes to family. Say like you can't suspect everybody in your family to support you. Say like long as you got this, that's all that matters. Say as long as you got your mom support you, your dad support you, or your close aunt, uncle, your sister, brother, you good. Everybody else gonna follow through with stuff, But that's the sad part about it. Some people will add you as a friend, just to see what you're doing, but they won't, put too much energy to what you got going on. Hey, Tracy, what's up? What's up? Back for the house. What's up? What's up? And and that's why I always say, don't suspect everything. I mean, I get it. You do become frustrated because I was like that when I was younger. And then I realized I was like, you know what? Why should I sit here and waste my time, on depending on a person that, they don't care about what I do. When they see something bad going on, whatever, then they want to hop in. Or if I sit here and talk about my opinions, then they start getting all their feelings. So yeah, man, we can't do it. As Black people, we love to entertain and that crap. We gotta stop doing that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why other races laugh at us because that's our go-to. That's what we do every day. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. But yeah, just waiting on the queen to come through. I don't know if she's having a hard time signing up or not. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, just man, so I'm glad, man, everybody's chopping in. Cause I'm gonna tell you straight up, man, I don't trip on like, oh man, I gotta have 1,000 views and stuff. I don't care about none of that, man. Like when I was talking to the brother Jay Brown I interviewed, okay, here we go. He said the same thing. He was like, my song sells, but that don't mean nothing. Okay, here we go. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, so okay. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
All right, cool.
Man, welcome, to the RnB Talk Show. So when everybody, say Lisa Carter, put some claps on there and stuff.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
But correct me, how you pronounce your name? Your first
Dii
name.
Fuston is Dii, yeah.
Dii, okay, yeah. Cause I know a girl I went to school with. Her name was Dii, she had 2 eyes in it. So I was like, let me ask her. Cause we live in a time where you can just switch whatever and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. There was someone else that thought the same thing, and he said the same thing, but I was like, nah, it's Dii.
Yeah, cause I think what's it called? Your girl from Jade, that used to be she wasn't a lead singer, she was a co-lead singer. She go by Dii Reed. And she got 2 eyes and stuff, and I'm like, it's kind of hard trying to pronounce whatever let's just say the name and everything. But I want to start right off, and pretty much, give you your flowers, even though you're like what they consider like a new school artist of this era. But see you be consistent, see your family, share your music, and everybody else with Mac 4, I was like, that's love, because at the end of the day, it's not about, man, I need to get 100. As long as you got that crowd, hey, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that ain't motivational to tell you. But I want to, start off with your music before we get to your history and stuff like that. What make you fall in love with music? So I want to start with the very first project you put out. Now, correct me on this. Your first single was called "Late Night." So how did that song come about?
Well, how everything else always comes up. I create the beat first, and if I didn't create the beat, I found the beat and I vibe to it. And then literally I just create off of that. Like whatever vibe the beat gives me, I'm gonna write that. And I just came up with the lyrics just because the beat gave me that. I was like, late night. I don't know. I was literally driving home listening to beats. And then that's what came to my, like, I was singing and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. When I got home, I finished the lyrics and the next day I recorded it.
Yeah. What is, like when I record that song, do you think to yourself like, man, I wonder how people feel? Because, they always say, you're only good at your first and stuff when you put something out and stuff like that, So how confident was you, by the time you got to upload to the world and have people, hear it?
I'm confident with everything I put out because I like everything I put out. And then
that's what I'm talking about.
The way I see it too is like, my people are going to be my people. They're going to like what I like because they're my people. And, we're not all meant to like all of each other's music. Everyone has different tastes. But I know that my people are going to like what I put out. And I like what I put out. And we both going to like it.
Yeah, absolutely and stuff. So like the next single you put out, Touching You. So here it is, you're on a roll in 2022 around that time. So how did that single come about?
Same concept. I just found the beat, and I think the beat was actually called something along the lines with touching. So that's how I came up with the start of the idea of what to write to it. And from there, same thing. I finish the song, record it, put it out. Usually the first people that I always show is my mom. And then,
Yeah.
um, Charles Mitchell, rest in peace. Those would be the main people I always show my music to first. And they're the ones that always support me and push me to put my music out there. And he was a big part of how and why I put my music out there the way that I do.
Yeah, my condolences to you and your family and stuff, Yeah, because I saw it on social media and stuff, and I was like, wow, I know what it's like to lose. Man, I done lost like 8 with the last
I
3 years
know.
and stuff. So
I know.
yeah, it's tough. I could say this. He's definitely proud of you. Where you at in your life. You know what I'm saying. Not just as a person, also as an artist. And I always say when somebody we lose somebody. God put those seeds for you to continue to go because they don't want you to stop. That's something
Definitely.
God gave you that gift. So
I
that's the
know.
art too.
He was my gift. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna use
Now,
it.
like around this time of this year, 2022, you was featured on Back Forest album, Mystery, with a song called "Fall in Love Again." And you
Yes.
know what? I'm gonna tell you what's so crazy about that too, because big shouts to Back Forward. When they did like the live stream concert, I didn't think about nothing. They went dancing, introduce you, and I was like, "Yo, man, like I didn't even see that coming." You know what I'm saying?
I
So
didn't see it coming.
yeah, yeah. So how that collaboration came about? You being featured on that album?
Pretty much they set up a meeting to talk to me. So we called each other and they let me know that they wanted me to be on it. And they sent me the beat and everything and let me write my verse. And I think the first one that I did, they liked it, but they wanted more, So I redid it and then boom, they're like, that's the one, fire. And then from there, it's a wrap. Then they came out with the
Yeah,
virtual concert and I was featured in their video on that too, the concert. So that was cool. Shout out to Mac 4. Those are my boys.
yeah. Big shouts to Back Forward. What I like about them, it's like they're not like one of those artists you see like you could be featured on the album and they got so much. Some artists got so much pride they don't even mention you, no
Yeah,
nothing. They just
I know
like
that.
what you do, but not
Mhm.
make say want to say as far as like show love because we live in town. You know how it is. Some artists they be filling themselves with ego and pride and
Yes.
all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
definitely.
Big
It's
shouts.
everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, big shouts to the brothers and stuff.
Hmm.
Now, like, yeah, from there, you drop another single, say called, okay, yeah, 2 years later called Blessings and Lessons.
Yeah.
So, what direction you was going in after coming off a kind of like I wouldn't say a hiatus, but kind of like, working on new music.
Yeah, well, yeah, so that one's gonna be on my next album, which is gonna be released really, really soon. It's gonna be soon. So I put that one out as one of the singles. And pretty much it's always the same concept. I hear the beat, whatever it gives me. And sometimes it's what I'm going through, or I just sit there and I think about everything that I've been through and what made me how and why I am the way I am these days.
Yeah.
So I was like, blessings and lessons. Like, regardless of how hard things were or what hurt me or anything like that, it was always a lesson and a blessing because I learned from it and then I build from it and I'm just better because of it. So that's how I came up with that song.
Yeah. Because I think that's every, best revenge for especially artists where like, okay, you receive, what you see, after you first debut to the world with music and stuff like that. It supposed to, it's what it would be the artist, it's supposed to fuel your fire without creating ego that goes negative. Then you start trying to attack everybody, taking diss shots behind the scenes and stuff. Be like, you know what, I'm gonna outdo what I did, and let's see where it goes at and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I
Yeah.
did skip one out. Then like you dropped, a second album called G double O D. I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So how did you come up with that a title?
Yeah. That's just my creativity. I don't even know how it came about. The beat, as soon as I heard it, I was just like, this like it reminds me of Easy E. And so like Easy E was in my mind when I wrote the lyrics. And then I don't know, I was kind of just like vibing and the lyrics just came like that. And I was G double O D. I was like, I'm gonna make it like G double O D, like D, me. And from there, I literally it's art. I just put literally my whole heart, creativity. It's all in the music.
Yeah, absolutely. And stuff. Yeah, Mac Force said she's our family. Make sure if you in the San Diego area, you know what I'm saying? And we say, yeah. Okay, yeah, make sure you support. Yeah, definitely got to support.
Yes.
Big shout out to San Diego. I was there before, like, oh God, like 8 years ago and stuff. But like a private, saying a red carpet event, saying that's a beautiful city for real.
Yeah. I'm about to perform there on Saturday.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
man. So congratulations on that.
Thank
Say
you.
because I know you're gonna show out when you
Oh,
get
you
there and
know it.
stuff. Yeah. So like now correct me on this, where was you born and raised at as a child?
Porterville, California, my whole life. It's a small
Yeah,
town. A lot of people don't know where it's at, but I just tell people it's in between Fresno and Bakersfield because a lot of people know where Fresno and Bakersfield is at. And then
yeah.
they're like, okay. I don't know if they really know, but they figure after that.
Yeah, because when people think about California, people think about Pasadena, LA, San Francisco, Oakland, all these other places and stuff. And that's like a low key spot. I tell you one thing, somebody run for the police and won't be able to find you.
Yeah.
You're like, what the hell is that? They got a GPS that shit. But yeah, so growing up, and I know so too, like music, is always in your house and stuff. So
Yeah.
when did you start, being a fan of music, at what age? You remember?
Little. I was probably like, a memory that I could go back to was probably when I was like maybe 3 or 4. And I just remember we'd go on cruises with my mom and dad, be me, my brother, my sister.
Yeah.
Little. And I just remember being in the back seat and just the New Edition, like all of that. I remember that. From there, I already loved music at that young age. And then by the time I was maybe like 10, that's when I was wanting to like make beats, like play instruments. And then that's when I also got my first Walkman. And that's when I first heard music like on the headphones. And, that's a whole different experience. You hear everything. And like from there, I was like, dang, I really love music. And I didn't know that I could really write it or anything until I was like about 12. I started writing poems. And then from there, I turned those into songs. And from there, that's when I just kept going. And
Oh, wow.
I never stopped ever since.
Yeah, like did your parents was like, you know what? We need to go to the music store and supply her with microphones,
Oh, yeah.
beat machine.
Oh, yeah.
anything she needs, we got her.
They hooked me up over the years. Not only that, they hooked me up with just the music in general. Like everything that I know is because me exploring their crates of tapes.
Yeah.
I would just be listening to all kinds of stuff. I wasn't outside. Well, I was outside, but if I wasn't outside, I was in my room. They didn't even know I was doing it, just listening to all the music.
Wow.
So many. And yeah, that's everything that I am with music wise is because my parents' influence. They both know what's fire. So they got that good stuff.
Yeah, with during your teenage years, when of course everybody goes through a phase, you try to figure out like what could I call myself? I gotta have a name to stand out. Or you just went by, the name that you go by now, as far as your government name.
Actually, like when I was in high school and stuff, I was more shy. Not a lot of people knew that I did music or made music. Very few people did. So I never really was gonna plan to put myself out there because I was really shy when I was younger. So
Right.
I never planned that. So I never had a name. But when I hit I think I was like a 20, going on 21, that's whenever I had ran into an old high school friend who remembered that I made music, and her man was doing music, and she like linked us up, and that's when I started recording it to put it out. And I put it out on SoundCloud first. So then that's when I was like, all right, what should I call myself? And I just went with D because my dad, his name is Quincy, but they all called him Q, first initial. So I was like, maybe I'll just do that too. I'm D. And then I just put a double I's just to make it different, like not just a lonely D, just to give him more character. And that's how that came about. And then also Fuston, I didn't even add the Fuston in there until when I met Charles Mitchell, when he was putting me out there. Like, he would always say Dii Fuston. Like, he would say the whole name, and I was like, you know what? It does sound good. So then that's whenever I just kept them both together. At first, it was just D.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
You know, I think it's dope when you could take a certain name and like flip it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think that's the dope part about it. You know, the only thing I hate about this business sometimes is like, you know, I have like two A's my first name, and I hate when people say Rashid. I'm like, damn, my mama did David don't damn Rashid. Like, where the hell that come from? You
I
know?
don't even know where that would come from.
Yeah, it's never the people that's like my age or even younger. It's always the older folks and stuff. I'm like, man, come on, man. Like, my mom would have heard that, she would have flipped her wig and stuff. You
You
know,
gotta see
everything.
the old people sometimes.
You know, by the time you was already adult, you know, I know your parents schooled you in, your uncle schooled you in about the business and stuff, you know, the do's and don'ts and everything. Because a lot of times, you know, I get it, you know, we be like 18, 19 years old, hell, even further back in that, 16, we start feeling ourselves and stuff. You know, you discipline your mind, but like, you know what, I don't want to sit here and reject what they say because I might end up not a bunch of blocking my blessings, but blessed that I don't have to deal with the all the rowdiness that goes on. Because especially see so much documentaries with Unsung and the New Edition story and everything and stuff. So what was the basics you learned from that, you know, when it comes to bad contracts and everything else?
Well, pretty much, I'm gonna be smart about everything. I'm gonna look over everything. I'm not gonna just sign anything. And also, when it comes to anybody that knows more than I do, I don't like get like offended or anything. I'll take it and I'll apply it. If it works, then it does. Most of the time, it does. Like, I will take criticism. I will take all of that to shape me and make me better, so that I don't run into mistakes like that or make any mistakes. Well, we're not perfect, but I'll try my best not to. But sometimes mistakes are good because you learn from them. So if somebody didn't teach me something, I'll learn from making that mistake, and then I just won't do it again. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when it comes to you, you know, being a writer, you done wrote, you know, majority of your whole life, just about you know, like when you find ideas to write a song, you know, when you kind of like to yourself, or you be like out somewhere, you be like, hey man, I just hear like a beat in my head, you know, a verse, you know, like I want to, you
It
know,
could
write
be
something
any of
down.
that. Yeah, like, it'll be something I'm going through. It'll be something that I heard someone else talking about. I'll use their story. I'll be watching TV or a movie or whatever, and they'll say something that'll spark like a whole line, and from there, I'll put that line and keep making like bars off of that. Like, literally, it can happen anywhere for me. It's literally a gift. That's how I know that, because I don't know how. I'll be doing nothing and it's just boom. I'll dream about it. Sometimes I'll be sleeping and a beat will be in my dream, or a whole song will be in my dream. And I'll just wake up and I'll like get my phone and like record it real quick so I don't forget. But when I was younger, I didn't have a phone. I just had to try to remember. If I remembered, cool. If I didn't, when I was younger, this is how I would know if it was a good song. If I remembered it still, I'd be like, all right, it's good because I still remember it. If I forgot it, I'm like, forget it. It wasn't that good.
Oh man. Yeah, and it's a good thing too, because sometimes there'll be times where like you could be in that thought and there'd be a bunch of distractions, phone calls, you know, somebody needs something, a favor too, you know, like, oh God, man, that just threw me all the way off. Especially if it's like right there in the instant at that moment, man. You know.
Yep. Man, sometimes I'll just if I'm at work or something, I'll just write something down real quick, like just so I don't forget it. Because it does just come to me sometimes, like where I don't expect it, it just comes.
Yeah. Because I better ask you too, you know, like when it, you know, as an artist, when it comes to performing, are you kind of like in the studio freestyle, you know, like who inspired you to really incorporate your style, you know what I'm saying? As far as like your sound of music, you know, the artists you looking up to now, or somebody from back in the day?
Most of it's all back in the day, like a lot of Ready for the World, Troop, New Edition.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to rap, it's more like Ice Cube, Tupac, Eazy-E. But there's so much more. Like, it's more than just them.
Yeah.
Even for the R&B, it's way more than just them. But those are the main ones because Those are the main ones my parents would listen to. But it goes way deeper than that. It goes to the blues. It goes to so much. Like, there's so much. But those are the main ones. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say you're like the first one I know besides I believe back before out this, but as far as a solo artist, you're the first one that love old school music. Everybody, talk about what's going on now, and I get it, what I'm saying? And I'd be like, you know what? I don't know who their parents is, but ain't nobody really hit them up to old school music. Straight up, but it ain't their fault, what I'm saying? Big shouts to, your parents are really installing that, what I'm saying? When it comes to that, everything. Besides on the music side of things, what's a day of life for you, as far as like activities, where you around your family?
Oh, when I'm with my family, we just love to have a good time. One thing about me, especially because I'm pretty much just to myself and I don't really have friends, my family's my everything. So I love just getting together with them, dancing, just having a good time. I got my nieces and nephews. That's all that matters to me. So if I'm not doing music, making memories, because life's too short. I love just being with them.
Yeah, absolutely and stuff, And I think it's incredible though, because I done interviewed maybe like 100 some artists from the West Coast. And the stuff I hear, it's like G-Funk, this and that and stuff. You're like probably one of the few of this era that, that loves the old school music, but also add that to your sound and stuff. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, wow, this is different from what I normally interview artists in between and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was going for, and that's what I want. And I want people like you that are familiar with that older music to hear that in my music. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, back for it says modern day BC Elliott, a writer and a lyricist.
Hey, wait.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see
sure.
that.
That'd be a vibe. That'd be a good time.
Speaking of which, if you could name like it don't have to be I know I said 5 artists. I know you like a handful, but if you had to jot it down to who you love really working with in the near future, as far as like collaborations of artists.
Dang, that's a hard one. That is a hard one. I mean, I would really have to say pretty much who I've already listed, like either the whole band Ready for the World or just Melvin Riley. Either the whole band or just, whoever. I mean, shoot, that'd be cool to work with Ice Cube too. Any of them. But I'll work with anybody, as long as I can vibe and we go together. And because when you love music, you just love to do it,
Oh man. Yeah, super. Yeah, big shouts to Ice Cube and stuff, man. But that brother, definitely icon, I'm shocked he's not in the Rock and Hall of Fame as a solo artist, and all the work he done put down since golly, I was like in elementary and stuff, You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Okay, like you got the up and coming show, April 19th. So what's your plans? Okay, you got the new album on the way. So how many songs you in deep so far?
For this next album?
Yeah.
If I counted correctly, there's like 24 songs on it. It's a long album. And then I'm already working on my next album. The songs don't stop coming.
Man, 24 songs, that's like 2 hours a piece and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a long album, but I can't stop writing. Like every time if I vibe to a beat or something comes, I have to keep writing. Like I'm always making songs. I'll never run out.
You're gonna do like a lyrical video?
Possibly, yeah. I did a little bit of that with my last album, so I might do that again. Who knows? Maybe I'll make videos. Maybe I'll do a virtual concert. Like, you never know. I'm just gonna see what God puts inside of me.
Yeah, make it happen. Because we saw you 3 years ago. And if we do it now, so I think it's awesome and stuff, for you, to be an artist and stuff. Was there ever a time you thought to yourself, you making music and you reflect on when you was a child, like, dang, I'm actually doing this, I'm doing my own thing, I got music out, I did this, I did that, and it kind of hits home sometimes when you reflect.
Yep, all the time. Literally, like just yesterday, like I think about that all the time. The further I get, every song that I make, every album that I've put out, after every time, I always think that. And I never even imagined that I would even get where I'm at right now. Like,
Yeah.
I never would have thought. So we're only going to see where it keeps taking me. I'm never going to stop regardless of where I end up because I love it so much. Like, it's just what I do. And now I'm just putting it out for everyone to hear. That's just my choice, you know. Either way, I would still be probably just making it, keeping it to myself like I was before because I love to do it. It's literally a passion.
Now, I don't know if you and your family ever talked about this, but like down the road, you know, say, you know, would you ever do like a documentary as far as like your artist career?
Oh yeah, for sure. I would. Why not?
Yeah,
You know, let people know how Dii Fuston came about. I want people to know me, you know?
yeah, because I think it'd be awesome, you know, because I think, you know, the problem is always a misconception with, you know, artists like yourself that, you know, they see the talent and they always pinpoint, you know, the do's and don'ts, but they don't know the person. Then when they see documentaries, they say, oh, okay, you know, I see what they were trying to say. I see what they're trying to do. I see what they move forward. This is their art, you know. And I always say that don't pay attention to what you see, hear the music.
There you go.
That's the thing. It's like when people look at Michael Jackson, people think about the appearance of his changes. And I get it, but at the same time, and focus on the art. Also, when he died, I'm like, oh man, you know, he was saying this, saying that. Well, it's too late now. He's gone.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what they always do. They wait until some shit like that. Sorry, some stuff like that happens.
You good? No, you good. The stuff, shoot. But shoot, with that being said, you know, I want to say thank you for taking the time to come on here, you know, because I thought to myself, I said, once I get certain scheduled interviews out the way, you know, which I was on IG, I said, I got to interview you, you know, and, you know, I mean, I see your grind, your growth. You know, I definitely got to have your songs on my playlist, you know what I'm saying? Like, we definitely got to talk about that after this is over with, you know. You know, just watching you be dedicated. And I thought to myself, like, you know, see you back for Jalen J Dogs Hitfield, you know, big shout out to the brother in Bronx, and just see y'all grind like that. I said, man, I wish older dogs would do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy. Like, how can you put a song out on Monday and let it go by Friday? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, you know, work like that. And I get it, people get frustrated, you know. You know, besides your family motivate you, you know, what for you, you know, I mean, you know, like how do you build yourself up to stay consistent, you know, as far as being an artist?
Literally just my love for it. Like, it all comes down to just my love for it. When I say I enjoy it, I enjoy it. So that's what's always going to keep me motivated, keep me doing it. And I don't want nothing that I put out to be wasted. So I want it to mean something. So I'm going to keep going because I've already started it. Like, I got to keep going now. So that's what it is. It's just me, and this just my mindset. It's already there.
Absolutely.
I got to get there now.
Yeah, before we wrap it up, you want to give everybody a shout out?
Oh, yeah. All right. Shout out to Mac 4, of course. That's my family. Shout out to you. Thank you for having me on your platform. Shout out to my family, my biggest supporters, you know. They're the ones that always show love to me. And shout out to anyone that right now I can't think because I'm on the spot. I can't think.
Nah, that's all good.
You all know who you are, who have supported me, who share my music, who involve me with you. Shout out to Christian. He's going to be a Santi Menace. He's going to be performing with me, and I'll be performing with him in LA as well on Friday.
Okay.
Shout out to all them. And yeah, that's all I can think of.
That's all good. It is all good and stuff, you know. And I tell you, you know, and thank you for coming on here for this being the first debut episode, because I was like, I can't see myself just, you know, interviewing everybody. And I done, you know, say made a promise to you and stuff. It's only right, you know. I know some people they want to come off with a bang and stuff, but to me, it don't matter who you have on there, it's who you have on here. You know, that's how I look at it, you know. But so with that being said, you all have a blessed night. Thank you all for taking time and enjoying this episode and stuff. And there's more on the way. So with that being said, we out of here.
Out of here.